the way you can imagine the hand is like a baby in the womb, like this. The thumb, which governs the will, is the closest thing to the baby, and then as you're going through the fingers, you're going to different layers of the self. So the first finger will be the personality. The second finger is the restrictions on the personality and what we build on top of the personality. So it's Saturn, traditionally. And then the little finger is how we interact with the other. The thumb is connected to the will. And we hear this in our daily speech. If you talk about being under somebody's thumb, it's their will is imposed upon yours. Do you agree? What's your will? Yeah, I agree. No, I don't agree. Whereas this finger here is about Jupiter, and it's more about the ego and the persona. Now, in humans is the only ape where this finger gets longer, and that makes sense because humans have a stronger developed ego and consciousness than other creatures. And when we gesticulate with this finger, for example, we are saying, oh, I know, it's about me, or you behave yourself. If you ever see those ISIS guys, whenever they're delivering their messages, they're always pointing their finger up. So this finger is about me and God. And the longer that finger gets, the more waggy it gets. And you can check this out with yourself or your friends. If you find someone with an abnormally long finger, or I don't like the idea of norms really, people have different length fingers, they have different endocrine function, that we're all just different, it's beautiful and it's diverse. The second finger is our learning, it's our structures, it's how we interface with institutions, it's how we order ourselves. It also governs the spine, it's the centre of the hand. In terms of the way the bone structure is, this finger and this finger move a lot, that one doesn't move so much. It's restricted. You can see even the mound of Saturn is flat on most people's hands because Saturn's about restriction, whereas the mound here of Apollo, which is the next finger, as we're going through the list, as we're going through the fingers, Apollo being the next layer of the self, is what you put out into the world. That's an expansive one, that's a big one normally. Now, in all of the monkeys and apes, this finger is longer than this finger. And in most humans, this finger is longer than this finger. Particularly in men, this finger is longer than this first finger. Although in about 10% of people, the index finger is longer than the ring finger. And that tells us about the hormonal influences during gestation. This ring finger here is connected to testosterone, which is why men tend to have a longer ring finger. Often women will have a index finger and a third finger, which is the same length. And if you look at the people who have long third fingers, there have been tons of studies on this, they are, for example, more likely to start their own businesses, they're more likely to go to prison, they're more likely to have a sunny disposition, less likely to suffer from depression. All of these things are connected traditionally in palmistry to the sun. And then the little finger is how we interact with the other. So for example, in Japan, there's this symbol that people will do if they want to know if this person is your girlfriend. They'll say, "Kanojo desu ka?" Is she your girlfriend? And they stick a little finger out. They do it in certain parts of Europe as well. Indicate your sexual partner with your little finger. The little finger is an interesting one. It's the last one to develop. So people who have little fingers that look like child little fingers, you see this quite a lot, they're going to have a much more childlike nature. This is the finger of Mercury, and Mercury was the brilliant child that is very inventive, he's always asking questions, he goes anywhere, he crosses borders and boundaries, so he doesn't really respect social norms. And a person with a little finger will quite often have the most inappropriate comment on the tip of their tongue. For example, you see people when the little finger goes out quite far and it's almost detached. You see this quite often in actors when they are on the screen because they're playing a different role. So this little finger comes out and they're kind of detached from their own self.